And it's another episode of Afroshowbiz News, the show that keeps you in the know about all things art and entertainment from around the African continent. Now, to keep in touch, feel free to email us at afroshowbiznews@sabc.co.za. Also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is @AfroShowbizNews. Let's have a look at stories making headlines this week. A South African mall refuses to play a Martin Luther King Jr. film. Young South African takes fashion to the streets. And is photography as a career still relevant? A mall in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa has refused to screen the latest film about the life of American civil rights activist Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Nazreen Syed of the Hemingway's Mall in East London says the film Selma is not commercially viable. Some film critics in the area expressed their disappointment. They say the film is relevant, especially during this Black History Month.
He's got supporters.
Syed says the movie does not perform well as compared to other films that were released. She further says studios that created the film brought in a limited amount of hard drives that were only provided for bigger commercial sites. Besides being in the running for Best Picture Award, the film was nominated for Best Original Song for already popular tune Glory, performed by rapper Common and R&B crooner John Legend.
We need your help, Dr. King. This thing.
The historical film, directed by Ava DuVernay, is about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his campaign for black voting rights in 1965. The movie is set to promote non-violence in the forthcoming elections.
We will not tolerate agitation.
The epic march from Selma to Montgomery culminated in President Johnson signing the Voting Rights Act in 1965, one of the most significant victories for the civil rights movement.
People actually say they're gonna kill.
The film stars British actors David Oyelowo as King, Tom Wilkinson as President Lyndon Johnson, Tim Roth as George Wallace, Carmen Ejogo and Coretta Scott King, and American rapper and actor Common as Bevel. The script in its original form was drafted by an English screenwriter, Paul Webb, in 2007. Then it floated for years. The cast also includes the Queen of Talk, Oprah Winfrey. The movie was also recently premiered in Nigeria at the House on the Rock Cathedral in Lagos. This came after the National Museum of Unity celebrated Martin Luther King Day in January. The occasion invited all the public as well as youth and school children, stressing that the aim of the day was to spread the knowledge of Luther King's work to them. Selma had 4 Golden Globe Award nominations, including Best Motion Picture, Drama, Best Director and Best Actor, and one for Best Original Song. It has earned nominations in the Best Picture and Best Original Song categories at the 87th Academy Awards.
Stands up, says enough is enough.
Anyone who will distribute or show the film 50 Shades of Grey in Kenya is liable to a fine, imprisonment, or both. The film, which is an adaptation of the book of the same title, is dominating cinemas in most parts of the world. It is to make about $68 million, but the Kenyan government does not recognize its success.
Kenya banned the film adaptation of best-selling erotic novel 50 Shades of Grey from its cinemas. The chairperson of the Kenya Film Classification Board says the film is sexual explicit and it leads viewers towards pornography.
The film was restricted due to its prolonged and explicit sexual scenes depicting women as sexual slaves and does not tackle the issue surrounding child abuse as experienced by the main protagonist.
The Kenyan Film and Classification Board frequently censors sexual explicit or liberal content in the social, traditional, largely Christian country. In 2013, it banned the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, which contained graphic depictions of sex and drugs. Another film which was banned was the 2014 film Stories of Our Lives, about the experiences of lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender Kenyans. The bishop believes that Hollywood is on a warpath to try and convince the world that the way of the future is pornography. He says that Kenya will continue to censor more films because the society is dynamic. 50 Shades of Grey is based on a 2011 trilogy novel by E.L. James, the first book of a series. The film is about the relationship between a literature student and a wealthy entrepreneur whose sexual tastes include bondage, domination, and sadomasochism. Dubbed mommy porn by critics, the book became a cultural spectacle producing offshoots and caricatures. The film premiered at the Berlin International Film Festival on Wednesday, and it has been in South African cinemas since Saturday.
Young fashion fanatics from Tembisa near Johannesburg in South Africa have taken fashions to the streets literally. They term their venture Fashion for Show. For Show is a local slang meaning the real McCoy. The Streets Meets Fashion event drew crowds of people around the township. So let's have a look.
This is the second annual event of its kind in Tembisa. It was influenced by the township lifestyle. Duduzu Dube, who organized the event, spoke about how the whole concept of Fashion for Show came about.
How it came about, it's an idea which Nick came to me, and I ran with the event. I facilitated the tents, the concept, on how we need to do what, when, as we've got a larger team, which some report under me. So that's my position around this event.
He further said that they were inspired by other countries and places from around the world who do similar events.
The concept here is, we looked at countries like Brazil. Brazil has Rio, there's a lot of things like Soweto, above Villa as a street, What do we have in Tembisa which says we are creators, we've got talent, That's how it came about, to say we could do it at the street, with the people, for the people.
Many townships in South Africa are synonymous with poverty, drug abuse, teenage pregnancy and shattered dreams. The idea is to instill confidence in designers and help groom the novice and teach them about the nitty-gritties of the industry. The models strutted their stuff on the ramp to major applause from attendees. Most of the outfits showcased had African influences on their designs. Designer and founder of the event, Nicholas Matambo, was tasked to design and make a dress during the fashion show, which he was able to complete before the end of the show.
I wanted to make a history in the world of fashion industry, because I believe you need to set a statement, as it says, the fashion statement. So I want to be the first one in the world to make a dress in the live show while the show is running. So I did it, and I'm happy because of the dress is finished. The last item of the show is the dress that I made today.
Sbu Liope is a national radio personality and businessman. He's also the ambassador of Ekurhuleni municipality, which comprises of Tembisa, which is his hometown. He says initiatives like this help to put the township on the map.
I think they're really humbling because they get people like yourselves to come and expose to the rest of the nation, to show what actually Tembisa is doing in empowering its own young people. There's a lot of bright young people in Tembisa. For instance, the young people that have been able to put this event together, they're smart enough, they've got a vision, and they're getting a lot of other youngsters out of the streets because they're promoting fashion. They're getting these guys to, on an ongoing basis, come up with their own designs, concentrate on fashion, concentrate on music, concentrate on DJing, concentrate on contributing towards the arts. And I think that gets a lot of youth out of the streets, and it gets them out of trouble, it gets them away from crime.
Organizers say that they hope that Fashion for Show will in the future be bigger and better.
Let's take a quick break. Stay tuned.
Exams monitoring body Malusi is withholding the results from 69 exam centers where group copying is suspected. 39 of them are in KwaZulu-Natal.
This is the first time that the rollout of CAPS has reached grade 12, and that's why the assessment is being rolled out now.
A slight recovery is expected this year with improving labor relations and gradually stronger exports. National Treasury expects the economy to grow at 2.5% this year. Electricity tariffs will rise by almost 13% this year and not the 8% initially announced. The energy regulator granted Eskom this increase to help the utility raise funds to plug a financial shortfall.
Catch all news locally and internationally. Tune into SABC, your #1 news channel, news at 8 from Monday to Sunday.
A Nigerian photographer, Uche James Iroha, is using his craft to vent his frustration over electrical outages in his country. His art exhibition with Imitate Reality portrays Nigeria's epileptic power situation. Nigeria is the most populous country and a top oil producer on the continent, but is struggling to distribute enough power for a few hours a day.
The exhibition, which was inspired by reality in Nigeria, is titled Power and Powers. Most of the artwork is made of glued-together electricity bills from the Power Holding Company of Nigeria. The pictures depict children with names like umbilical cord, electromanipulation, shackles, and pictures of men in chains. Uche depicts what has become a daily source of frustration for Nigerians.
I didn't need any inspiration. I just need to navigate my own personal reality, because it's not a new story for a Nigerian. It's something we live with on a daily basis. So I just wanted to remind anyone who's concerned about not being complacent with the situation. That's the whole idea. To also look at the core relationship between political power and electrical power. A dark romance, it's unbelievable.
The country's electricity shortages are amongst the main barriers to investment and growth in Africa's biggest economy and top oil producer. Lights in Nigeria are on for only a few hours a day, forcing those who can afford it to rely on expensive diesel generators that burn up billions of dollars worth of fuel.
I find the exhibition quite enlightening. I think it's quite fascinating the way he depicts the NEPA issues with pictures. It's a nice exhibition. He did the photographer. He did a great job.
Industry experts believe some improvements will be felt in 2 to 3 years. The pictures Uche paints are sold for $1,470 to $2,000. He says these pictures are not necessarily for financial gain, but to create debate about the power situation in Nigeria.
Success comes from when the works are in themselves able to agitate the people, able to instigate some discourse or waken the people up for them to know that, look, it's not normal, because people think it's okay, I can buy a generator, it's fine. We've forgotten that we're going to pollute the environment, we're going to destroy a lot of productivity. We can solve this problem.
Despite the government's push for changes in the power sector, authorities say challenges still arise. The new meters are designed to send a signal to the power station if interfered with. It is hoped that a good metering device will cut down on fraud and wastage and increase efficiency in the power sector.
Metering gap in Nigeria is so huge, and there is no scientific way of looking at people's faces and estimating the amount of electricity they are consuming. The only way to do that is to install meters.
But in Nigeria, just making the money available does not always mean it will be used wisely. Some $40 billion has gone into several power reforms drives in the last 20 years. Industry experts say much of it was wasted. Still, there remains hopefulness that fighting power out of government hands will eventually lead to progress.
With social sites such as MySpace, Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, photographs have become an entry to individuals who wish to share their personal experiences. Now, with photography so accessible to everyone who owns a consumer camera and a smartphone, selfies especially have taken more preference. Now, how does this affect the demand for photographers? Well, let's find out from a professional photographer, Stephen Morangiwa. Stephen, welcome to Afroshowbiz News.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Now, you have been in the photography field for the past 5 years, isn't it? Yes. So hasn't the latest technology, how has that, influenced your photography?
Yeah, it's you get those amateurs and then you get professionals. And anyone can take a camera and shoot, but then obviously you gotta have the eye to get that money shot. Mm-hmm. So usually selfies and other soft pictures, it's mostly for Facebook and social networks, but then advertising agencies now, they need professionals to do when you want a campaign for a billboard, for a newspaper campaign or for web, then they need someone who knows how to actually take the photo and then retouch it and prep it for print work. So it needs a professional.
Yeah, now Stephen, with softwares such as Photoshop, do they not maybe compromise your creativity as a photographer?
No, it's actually, it helps, it aids in the process of making the picture come out nice. It's like a pencil to your sketches. So it's just another tool of making it to make your picture come out nice.
All right. Now, what is unique about your photography? What sets you apart from the other photographers?
I usually do on-set fashion shoots. I usually use natural light, and then I play with my camera angles. I use different camera angles that are not like normal to anyone else's, so that it looks different from everyone else's. Plus, I also grade it, I retouch it to have a different feel to it. So you create a certain mood, just like when you look at a movie or a TV show. The way it is graded, it gets this other atmosphere that you won't get from taking from a photo from a phone. Yeah.
All right, now your photography. What inspires, your photography?
Usually nature, how things look like around so I'm inspired by everything when I'm walking around. So I just want to catch that moment in time and freeze it, and then just for record purposes that this was taken and it's there, I made it.
All right, and then where have you maybe, exhibited your work?
My work, I've done some couple of exhibitions in Chinhoyi. There's a gallery there. Yeah. And then mostly on site on Behance Network. It's a professional website where professionals put their website there. Internationally represented by Frank Mio, the photocloser.com. So people are looking for me, they can actually see me there, and then they can book me for gigs international or locally as well.
All right, now in terms of sustainability and longevity, does photography, cater, to your financial needs?
Yeah, it does. You can actually get fully booked in a week. You actually have to move out some bookings as well, because you'll be like stacked. Because I also do events photography, and sometimes I also, instead of just doing stills, you can also do videos as well on the side. Yeah, so that keeps me busy.
All right, and then who have you maybe collaborated with
I'm
in your work?
I'm the lead photographer for this brand, Ubuntuism, and I've done some modeling shoots for Oyama Models, and then I've done some profile shoots for Intertalent, say Voice Bank. Yeah.
All right, Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Yeah. The South African film titled Thina Sobabili, The Two of Us, won the Audience Award at the 23rd edition of the Pan-African Film Festival in Los Angeles, California. The festival ended this week.
Oregon Tulas. Kulmangan manje wena sana.
The searing South African film about sugar daddies and marital rape, Thina Sobabili, The Two of Us, has lifted a coveted Audience Award at the Danny Glover's Pan-African Film Festival in Los Angeles. The film won by a huge margin of 16,500 votes in its category. After opening in Durban, it was picked by a few festivals, recently being recognized as one of the 12 best films to show at the African Diaspora International Film Festival. 3 other South African films, Four Corners, Hear Me Move, and Cold Harbor, were also in competition. Thina Sobabili is marked by an excellent performances and a huge dramatic twist, with a witty and unflinching exploration of life in Alexandra Township. The film tells the story of Zanele, raised by her strict criminal brother, and the difficult choices she must take when she is proposed to by an older man.
You are still watching Afroshowbiz News. Now, if you've missed any of our shows, be sure to catch them on our YouTube channel by simply searching for Afroshowbiz News. Time now for another break, but stay with us.
into Africa. This is Ghana. The president is Mr. John Dramani Mahama. Ghana got independent from the United Kingdom on 6 March in 1957. The population is more than 25 million people. One of Ghana's major languages spoken is English. Monetary unit is cedi.
And welcome back. South Africa's music lovers, embrace yourself with something fresh in the hip-hop genre. Sakekile, the pajama rapper, is brewing a mixture of hip-hop and pop music. This rapper from Danzane in the Eastern Cape province says there's a gap in the game that he needs to fill. He is signed under Alfani stable, also from the Eastern Cape, and he now joins us in studio. Hello, Sakekile. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I can see you are in your pajamas.
I'm swagged
and
up.
You are always in your pajamas. Why
Every
is that?
day. No, I'm comfortable. You know, they say in life, if you wanna get somewhere, you have to come out of your comfort zone. For me, I feel like I just want to stay in my comfort zone. So I'm comfortable like this.
All right. Now, you say that you're mixing hip hop with pop. Why specifically this mixture?
I've got a love for rock music, you know, and I love to rap, but I also wanted to mix my music, you know. So I always used to just mash up sounds that I used to get. So that's the sound that I have. It's a pop sound mixed with hip hop because I'm a rapper, but I do love the pop sound.
All right, now, Sakekile, you say you want to bring something fresh and new, you know, to the music industry. What is it that is missing? What do you think that you can, put in your?
Well, firstly, what's missing is something new that's young. Firstly, secondly, something that looks brand pushing. You know, I'm pushing pajamas and this is what I wear every day. And my music, I really talk about the stories that I go through. I mean, on my song One More Drink, I talk about my mom saying I should go get a job when I really just wanted to make music. So everything that I do that's different about me is that I tell real life stories in my music, but still want to have fun with it.
Now, you work with Afani, who is a very well established musician in the country. Has his music maybe influenced what you do?
Not at all, because it's two different, it's two different kinds of music. I mean, Afani raps in Xhosa and I rap in English, and we've got two different markets. So his music hasn't influenced me in any way, but his work ethic has influenced me. You know, how he pushes, how he's just out there to get his music out. That has influenced me.
All right, now, Sakekile, how do you plan on staying, relevant? Because time runs out. How do you intend to stay relevant?
You know how I intend to stay relevant. I mean, right now I'm learning how to play the piano. I feel like for me to grow, I need to know musically what I can do. So I want to create music and just stay creating. So I feel like I'm gonna stay in the game for a while because firstly I'm new and I've got so much music stored up in my hard drive. So I can't wait for people to get a taste of it.
So tell us a bit more about your single, One More Drink. One More Drink.
Yes.
What is that all about?
One More Drink is just a song about me struggling. Like I'm struggling. My mom is saying go get a job, and my friends are like, Ish, maybe this is not gonna work out for you. But I'm like, I'm gonna push, and once I've pushed and I've made it, we're all just gonna have one more drink, one more milkshake, and just relax and have fun.
Good times.
And have good times.
So how has the response been to that single?
Yeah, I think the response is, obviously I'm a new artist, so people are still not sure. I've got a music video out, and I mean the music video is beautiful, and so people are still looking at me, and I'm gonna hit them with another single soon featuring a legend in the game. So I'm really excited. So people are really gonna see more of me.
All right. Now, besides you working with Afani, which we know, who else have you worked with, or maybe who else would you like to work with in the future?
Oh, okay. Well, in around June, July, I'm dropping my album, which features one of my favorite rock bands, Shadow Club, which also is going to feature Matthew Gold, which also is going to feature another legend which I don't want to put out there. But, obviously I have Afani in there, and obviously there's other people I want to work with that I haven't yet, and I'm just really looking into it. But I really want people to know who is Sakekile, so I'm not trying to do everything with everyone. I want people to understand my sound and get a feel of who I am.
All right, speaking of your sound, it's not a sound that we, hip hop and pop. Do you think people will really, draw to it?
Yeah, I think people are always looking for something new. I think people are always looking for something new, and they will enjoy my music.
All right, Sakegile, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome. Now, Zimbabwean music icon Thomas Mfumo will be touring South Africa. He will be performing at the Baseline in Johannesburg, and the Dragon Room in Cape Town. The concert is taking place next month.
Based for most of the decade in the United States, Mfumo has not performed in his homeland of Zimbabwe since then. So his March performance with his band, The Blacks Unlimited, will no doubt be welcomed by the large community of Zimbabweans who call South Africa home, as well as his many other fans. Thomas Mfumo and The Black Unlimited's Danger Tour will see them perform at the Baseline in Newtown, Johannesburg on the 27th of March, and the following night at the Dragon Room in Cape Town. The Danger Zone tour is meant to promote Mukanya's latest album, which was launched this week in Harare. Affectionately known as the Lion of Zimbabwe, or Mukanya, Thomas Mfumo is one of Zimbabwe's most respected musicians. In the 70s, he formed the Blacks Unlimited and crafted his own style, known as the Chimurenga, which sensitizes people to reclaim their traditional beliefs and culture.
We have now come to the end of our show, but be sure to catch the repeats every Sunday at 2 a.m. and again at 1:30 p.m. But before we go, we'll be playing out with Sakegile with his song, One More Drink. Do enjoy, and goodbye.
Made it this far, never looking back. Mama said, go and get a job. All I did was rap. Listen to the flows, how I rhyme, how you hate on that. If she's freaking like I'm gon' hit it from the back. No way, yes I have a dream that I gotta chase. Tell your favorite rapper that I'm trying to take over this place. Okay, just before you go and get a heart attack, tell the waiter bring the bottles, we celebrating just over here. I could do with one more drink, or do I really need one more drink? Oh yeah, I could do with one more drink. Oh yeah, I could need one more drink. Oh yeah, all I need is one more drink, one drink. I could do with one more drink though. I said I'm never looking back, killing every track, rolling solo, watch to start a group like I'm Nickelback. Probably break a neck, but I raise my stack to the roof, cause the bank don't need that proof. I chase my every time I guess, and I just laugh every time they ask, who am I? It don't matter, I came to party, yes I made it, spread the word. Tell somebody if you hate it, you need some love. I'm honestly just getting started, I won't give up. Celebrating for no reason at all. God gave me a call from heaven and told me, get ready boy, you bout to ball. Been hustling my whole life, praying like every night, and now it's my